Yes, I'd like to reiterate what Dr. Johnson and Dr. Seaman said about thanking you for taking the time out of your day to come and listen to me talk about RESI and about my own research. I was telling someone earlier that up until about the middle of last week, I thought that these were going to be two different presentations, that I was going to talk to you at two different times, one about the Institute for Race and Ethnic Studies and one about my own research. And somewhere in a conversation in the middle of last week, I realized that these were going to be joined together at this presentation. So what I've tried to do is go back through, put these two together, and hopefully I will have enough time to present everything that I would like to talk to you about today, but if I don't, feel free to email me if you have follow-up questions after this session. So what I'm going to try to do today is give you a little bit of an idea of where I think the Race and Ethnic Studies Institute should place its emphasis over the next few years by talking a little bit about its mission, talking about some of the goals, and talking about the vision, particularly the operational vision that I see setting for RESI. And then I thought I would spend the rest of the time talking a little bit about my research since I moved to Texas A&M in January and have not had a chance to meet many of the people. I've met some, but there are many of you that I have not met. Okay. In terms of the mission, what we see as our mission in RESI is to provide intellectual leadership in advancing interdisciplinary partnerships to pursue research aimed at understanding the salience of race and ethnicity, both on a local level, on a statewide level, national level, and internationally. We have scholars who address issues on all of those levels. We also want to be kind of a clearinghouse for ideas about race and ethnicity so that we can bring together people and do big projects that would not be possible with scholars working independently. We want to provide some support for scholars on campus that have some creative ideas. And they need a little bit of help to get those projects launched. And finally, I think our key mission focuses on graduate education. One of the things that research centers do, in addition to producing great quality research, is training the next generation of researchers. So we're hoping that as RESI unfolds, that we will be a place where graduate students have a place to learn their craft. So this is what we see as our critical missions. Now, in terms of our particular goals, we've set out sort of 5 goals at the beginning to get us started here and working towards fulfilling this mission. And since my students always complain that I have too much information on my PowerPoint slides, I tried to do a little chart to make it much easier on the eyes. So what I'm going to try to do is to talk about these goals, and they're connected because they're really overlapping and interrelated. You can't really separate them out, but I'm going to talk about them as if they were separate. Well, one of our goals, as with all research institutes and centers, is to achieve visibility at the national level, to achieve recognition and prominence. And we're committed to generating high-impact research and scholarship that will achieve that visibility and prominence. We want the Institute to be known as a place where cutting-edge research related to race and ethnicity issues is done. In other words, we want, when people think of where scholars and scholarship is taking place that focus on issues around race, ethnicity, we want Texas A&M to be mentioned, and to be mentioned in positive ways. I think we are uniquely suited in many ways to build that kind of visibility. And one reason for this is that as a state, we're becoming much more ethnically diverse as we are in the country. And when you have ethnic diversity and increasing ethnic diversity, particularly at a rapid pace, there are going to be challenges and issues that need to have good empirical data to support how those issues and challenges are going to be handled. And I think with our unique demographics in the state, this is an opportunity to do research in a way that has very practical implications and is important for our state's future. So I think given where we are positioned, given these issues, that RESI could be a place where we not only do scholarly research for publishing in our journals, but also do research that has important implications for how people live and how we deal with issues in the state. I also think we're uniquely positioned because we are a land-grant institution, and as a land-grant institution, we've had a mission and a tradition of not only doing research, but we've also had the extension programs. And I think my training was in a rural sociology department, and I worked with extension programs to disseminate information. So we already have some ready-made pathways for connecting what we do here at Texas A&M in terms of research to the public by working in those venues. And finally, I think we're in a unique position because over the last decade, the number of scholars at Texas A&M who are interested in race ethnicity has increased. And so we now have, I think, a core group of folk that are interested enough in these topics that we can do some interesting things. For example, the RESI affiliated faculty, these are people who are connected to the center in some way, now number about 50. And they come from a number of different parts of the university. And so I think that we have an excellent base for building a research network that will garner attention and actually contribute to people's lives. And to do this, we need to build on these partnerships. As I said before, individual researchers can do great work, but when you get a group of them together, they can do better work. And so one of the goals of RESI is to be to lead and also be a clearinghouse for bringing all of these folks on campus who are interested in these issues together to work on projects. And I think this will be, because it's so varied, I think this will be a really good strategy. As some of you may know, one of the emphases, at least at the national level, is on transdisciplinary research, where you bring people from different disciplines to work on issues together, as distinguished from interdisciplinary research, in which they work on them, but they work on them in their own silos. So sociologists working with sociologists, economists working with economists. In transdisciplinary research, you have people, economists, sociologists, people from public health, et cetera, all working on projects together. And because we have so many faculty distributed across